We have successfully installed Flutter in our Windows machine. Now let's get started. In order to start creating our Flutter projects, we have to know about the simulators and emulators in an Android device. Whenever we have to run any applications, we have to enable and run emulators in our Windows machine. Emulators are a virtual device where we can test our applications. Similarly, in Mac operating system, in order to test our app on an iOS device, we have a simulator. Simulator is also a virtual device, that is an iOS device where we can run our applications. And in order to enable and set up the emulators for Android projects, we have to run Android Studio and do setup from there. When you open the Android Studio, click on the more actions and we can see there is a virtual device manager. If you click on that virtual device manager, you will see all of the virtual device if you have created already. If not, we have to create one virtual device. Let's create a virtual device by simply clicking on the create virtual device. Okay, here we can see a list of categories for phone, tablets, desktop, TV and automotive. We are just intending to develop applications for the phone. That's why I am going to click the phone in the category, and in a device, let's click the Pixel phone. Make sure that you click on that device, you install that device which have Play Store enabled. That will help us in our development phase as well. So click on the Pixel 4 and let's click the next button, continue. Here there is multiple options to install according to the release name. Okay, I will install the R version. Currently the version has not been installed in my machine, that's why I have to install that R version by clicking on the install button right to the R text here. So it will take some time to download this release. After we have successfully downloaded the SDK for the R release, we'll see this window. Click on the finish. Now we can see that R has been already downloaded in our system. So now you can just click on the R release name and click on the next button. Okay, now let's give a name. Okay, I think Pixel 4 AP30 is a valid name, so I will use that name, and let's finish the installation by clicking on the finish button here. Okay, here I have successfully created one virtual device, that is Pixel 4, whose API is 30, and you can see the disk it is currently taking is 513 MB. We can start our virtual device by clicking on this play button. So while clicking on that launch button, I'm getting an error, install Android emulator hypervisor driver. Okay, now I will install this hypervisor driver as well by clicking on the OK button. If you face similar kind of dialog box, just continue accordingly. Okay, you need to install this. I'll just click on the next. Okay, yes, and it has been already downloaded and installed. Okay, I'll click on the finish button here. Okay, now as we have installed the Flutter and done all of the setup, we are now ready to go and build our Flutter application. Now in order to create any project in a Flutter, at first we have to determine where we have to place our projects in our machine. So I have 4 different drives here, and I'm going to save my Flutter projects in a F drive, where I'm going to create new folder called Flutter projects. Okay, and I will save all of our projects inside this Flutter projects directory. So here I am intending to create one project for the Flutter. So we have two different methods of creating a brand new project of Flutter. So the first method is using a command line tool. We'll see that if we are using the command line tool, we have to go to that directory where we want to save our project. Currently I am saving my project in our F Flutter projects directory. So I am just going to that directory and I can just click CMD here. If I click CMD, we can see a new terminal window has been appeared with a directory Flutter projects that we have already created here. So inside the directory, we have to create our project. In order to create a Flutter project, we have a command called Flutter space and create. Now create is a command that will create new project for us. There are different commands available in the Flutter. If I only type Flutter and enter, then we can see there are different commands here. Okay, and for the project label there are analyze, build, clean and rest of the other commands available. So here is the create command that creates a new Flutter project. Okay, so let's go and create new Flutter project using a command called Flutter space create, and after a create we have to give the name of that project. The name of the projects will be valid. For example, if I'm going to create a game called tic-tac-toe, I'll just write tic-tac-toe or any relevant name of the project. Right now I'm just creating one test project in order to show you how to create a project. So let's create app underscore test. If I click enter here, now we can see we are going to create a project called app underscore test. And yeah, finally we have done all done and we have created our project. So if you see here inside the Flutter projects, here is a directory called app underscore test, and inside the app underscore test we can see a lot of different folders and files. These files and folders are useful for the project, and we will see about the different files and folders, what are these files and folders doing here in our next videos. Now we will just have another method of creating a new project as well from VS Code. So in order to create a brand new project from the VS Code, just open the VS Code and click on Shift, Control and P button. If you click on the Shift, Control and P button, you can see a new window has been appeared where you can type Flutter. If you type Flutter, there are different kind of menu options available here. There is a Flutter new project. If you click on that new project, you can see a new window appears where we can choose the type or the template of that Flutter application. There are different kind of templates available. The first one is application, where this is used to generate a Flutter application with descriptive comments and text. The next one is application empty, and this creates a Flutter application without descriptive comments or text. There are different kinds of other options available as well. We will just click on the application here. Okay, here we have to provide the drive where we are going to save our project. As I have already created Flutter projects directory here, I'm just going to provide that path where I can create a project. So I'm just select a folder to create the project in. So I'm just selecting this folder, and we have to provide name of that project as well. So okay, let's give this name flutter underscore application underscore one. Okay, and if I press the enter button here, now we can see a brand new project has been created, and let's trust the author. Okay, and we can see brand new project has been created here. Just close the VS Code, and inside the Flutter projects we can see there are two different projects available. The first one, app underscore test, it has been created using a command line, and the other one is Flutter underscore application underscore one, and it has been created using a Visual Studio Code. You can create project using any of these methods. There are other method as well. For example, you can just use Android Studio in order to create Flutter project as well. Okay, now in our next video we'll just look about these projects.